Hey, so this is actually the second time I'm filming this video because I filmed the entire thing, went to upload it to my computer and it didn't exist. And I definitely pressed record because I always double check first. So thanks, phone, you a-hole. This is the mid-year freak out book tag. That is a mouthful. I think some people are also calling it the mid-year book freakout tag, which also works, but yeah. So we have got 13 questions here and I'm just going to get straight into it because I can't remember what I said in my original intro. Question 1. What is the best book you've read so far in 2020? If you know me, you will know. And I'm just going to show you my collection of this so far. And that is Havenfall by Sarah Holland. So I absolutely adore this book. It is my world. I want to reread it over and over again. And I probably could justify it because it's only like 300 pages. And I read it in 3 hours. Really proud of that. So I got the gorgeous blue arc in the December Book Box Club box. Read it, absolutely loved it. Then I pre-ordered the standard US hardback. Then I managed to trade with my friend and I got the orange UK arc. So I still need to get the purple one, but no one seems to be trading it, which is really frustrating. And then Illuma Crate did this in their March box, which is, it's the same cover, it's just smaller, which is annoying, but it's got the blue edges and the ribbon bookmark, and it's also signed, I think. I know the author letter came in it, but the author letter was too big, so the author letter is currently in here. This is really hard, but yeah. I absolutely loved this book. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th book I read this year, and I didn't think it would stay my favourite, especially since there's 2 Cassie Clare books coming out this year. But I was wrong, and I am like halfway into the year. I've read 95 books so far and this is still my favourite, so yeah. Question 2. What has been your favourite sequel of the first half of the year? So for this one, I don't think I've read many sequels this year so far. I'm terrible at reading sequels. I'll read the first book, I'll love the first book, I'll buy the second book, and then not read the second book. But I read Venom by Bex Hogan this month? Yeah, this month. And wow, did she rip my heart out, stamp on it, and then rip it to shreds. And I need book 3 now. If you've read this, you will understand why all of that. If you haven't read this and you haven't read Viper, go read them. Like, honestly, they're amazing and I love them. I need Vulture now. Vulture's book 3 and I want it now. Question 3. Is there a new release that you haven't read yet but you're excited for? And I've picked Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So I pre-ordered this. It came out in May, beginning of May. I pre-ordered it. I got the gorgeous Forbidden Planet edition because I loved the yellow. Yeah, I haven't read it yet. I forgot to put it on my May TBR because I forgot it was being released when I was planning my May TBR, and then I didn't get round to it. And then I originally added it to my Penemathon TBR, but obviously that readathon got cancelled and I was hoping to still get to it in June, but it just never happened and I couldn't fit it for any of the prompts on my other June TBR. So it's just been sat in there, but I have added it to my July TBR, which is my Pixarathon TBR, and I will read it. Question number 4. What is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? This one has to be The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare. If you know me, you know how much I absolutely adore Cassie's books. They are incredible. I have like a shelf and a half dedicated just to her books, and I have like multiple copies of some of the books. I have no control. But The Lost Book of the White I am so excited for. And I'm just actually about to start my reread of Red Scrolls of Magic, and then obviously Lost Book of the White comes out in September, so perfect timing. Question number 5. What is your biggest disappointment so far? And I'm sad to say it's The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I was really excited for this. I had heard so many good things, so I requested the e-arc on NetGalley and I was granted it, and then I never got around to reading it before release, so obviously I kept seeing loads of reviews for it. Well, not so much reviews, but I kept seeing loads of people being like, oh my god, this is so good. And I read it in May and I didn't like it. I ended up giving it 2 stars and I almost DNF'd it at one point. Yeah, it was just such a disappointment. I didn't like any of the characters. In fact, I despised the characters, like especially the men, and the women weren't any better either. And yeah, like the only thing that kept me going was the fact that I did kind of want to know what the, like, who the killer was at the end and who was killed. So that was literally the only thing that kept me going. Number 6. What is your biggest surprise so far? For this one, I've chosen The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. I was really excited for this because I read her Daughter of the Pirate King duology and I really liked it. And I would definitely reread it again. I'm looking to get physical copies because I listened to the audiobooks on Scribd. And I really enjoyed it. So I was really excited for this. And then we got it in Fairy Loo and I was like, yay, this edition is gorgeous. I love it. And then people started reading it and nobody seemed to like it. So I was like, oh, well, this is gonna be fun. And I started to not want to read it, but I picked it up in June and I read it and I absolutely loved it. Like, it's my 2nd favourite book of the year so far. So not only did Havenfall knock Chain of Gold off the top spot, but then this went and knocked Chain of Gold off of the 2nd spot. Like, I absolutely love it and I already want to reread it, and it's been less than a month. So yeah, I don't know why people are hating on this one so much because I really enjoyed it. Like, question number 7. What is your favourite new to you or debut author? So this year I discovered Margaret Rogerson. So we got Sorcery of Thorns in a Fairy Loot box last year. Look at those edges. And I didn't get around to reading it until earlier this year. I think it was like March or April. And I absolutely loved it. And then this month, so in June, I read An Enchantment of Ravens. These are amazing. So this is like Books and Demons, and this is Fae. Like, these books were made for me and I absolutely love her writing style. These books are incredible, and I know there's a few people that didn't like this one in particular. I haven't really seen anyone say anything not good about this, but there probably are. I haven't really looked into it much because I love it, so I don't really care. But yeah, she is now definitely an auto-buy author for me. I'm really excited to see what she gives us next. Question number 8. Newest fictional crush. I have a lot of fictional crushes, but I think my newest one is definitely between Thomas Lightwood, because we got a little bit of him in 1 or 2 of the short stories in the Bane Chronicles, and then in one of the stories he's mentioned in Ghost of the Shadow Market. I don't know why I'm pointing to the book because you can't see the books. But then obviously Chain of Gold, he is a huge part of it. He is not the main character, but he is a main character. And damn, I love him so much. He's beautiful and he's perfect. And the fan art, whew, wow. Like, yes, please. And then the other one, I feel like Thomas is definitely the one, but I really love Thomas Cresswell. I read Stalking Jack the Ripper at the beginning of the year and I just love him. And the moment after I read it, I went on the hunt for the Fae Crate plushie, because obviously I hadn't read any of them when the Capturing the Devil box that Fae Crate did come out, so I missed out on the Thomas plushie, but I have him now and he's up there. And I have also pre-ordered the Audrey Rose plushie as well. But yeah, so I love Thomas. He's brilliant, but they're both Thomas. Clearly I have a thing for Thomases in books. Question number 9. What is your new favourite character? I can't believe I'm saying this because I absolutely despised him at first, but Alistair Carstairs. So he is in one or two of the short stories in the Bane Chronicles, and he's mentioned in one of the stories of Ghost of the Shadow Market, and I absolutely despised him. He was a bully and oh no, just didn't like him. And for the first half of Chain of Gold, I maintained that view of him, and then something happens in Chain of Gold and my view of him completely changed, and now he's actually one of my favourite characters. So that was actually quite a bit of a shock, the fact that I am now saying Alistair Carstairs is one of my favourite characters. Question number 10. A book that made you cry. So for this, I mean, most books make me cry, whether it's happy tears, sad tears. I'm very emotional and I cry at a lot of things. But for this, I picked a more serious one, and that is The Places I've Cried in Public by Holly Bourne. So this is actually the ARC I won at Yelk last year. I actually cried when I won the ARC. Not full on cry, but there were tears. There was tears. So this focuses on a girl who's in college and she's dating this boy, and the relationship ends up being emotionally and sexually abusive. And yeah, I can relate to this a lot, and I think that was part of the reason I cried at it so much. So this one hit home really hard for me, but I'm really glad I read it because it is super important, and Holly has written it so well. It's unreal. Like, Holly is amazing. Question 11. That's gonna be fun. So this is on the complete other side now. A book that made you happy. Now many books make me happy, but I wanted to go for one that gives me warm fuzzy feelings, and oh, I love it. And that is Heartstopper Volume 3. So I went to the event in February for this in London Piccadilly, and I ended up, the train journey home is less than an hour, and I read this. Like, okay, it's a graphic novel, but I read the entire thing on the train journey home, and I was literally just grinning the entire time. I actually got some weird looks because I was just smiling so much at this, but it's just so wholesome and heartwarming, and oh, I love it with all of my being. It's so lovely. It makes me happy, and it's one that I can reread, and it doesn't take long to reread it. Obviously, I've got volumes 1 and 2 there as well, and I've already pre-ordered volume 4, but I just love it so much, and the teachers are adorable. Oh. Question number 12. What is the most beautiful book that you have bought this year? So I didn't actually know when I bought this that it was going to be as beautiful as it was, because it came in the Illuma Crate Chain of Gold box. Like, look at that. It's like a goldy orange with green. There's orange edges, and it's absolutely beautiful, and I love it. I have 4 different editions of Chain of Gold, and this is my favourite. They're all gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but this is my favourite, and I love it so much. And the story inside is just as beautiful. And the final question, question 13. Did better than I thought at that. What books do you want to read by the end of the year? Ideally, all of this. But realistically, that's not going to happen. Also, a lot of these I have read. Well, maybe half. I don't know. So I've picked 2. There are a lot more than that, but I have picked 2 that I want to get read before the end of this year, preferably in the next couple of months. But yeah. So first up is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. So I've got this gorgeous fairy lit edition, And if you don't already know, they are doing a Blood and Honey, which is the sequel. They're doing a Blood and Honey edition to match this. So I do want to get to this very quickly because that goes on sale, I believe, in a couple of weeks. So I need to get to this very quickly so that I know whether I like it enough to spend out on the Fairy Loot edition of Blood and Honey, because I don't want to buy it and then I don't end up liking this and I have to sell both of them, because I don't want to take that away from someone who genuinely loves this and will want Blood and Honey. So I want to get to this very soon. I think this isn't actually on my TBR for July, so I think I might just squeeze this in very quickly at the beginning of July to get it read and hopefully love it. Although my bank account hopes that I don't love it. And then the second book, I don't know why I haven't read this yet. I feel like I'm a bit daunted by it, and it is Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. So I've got this gorgeous edition. I think I'm daunted by this because I have heard literally even people that aren't Sarah J Maas fans have loved this. So I've always got that niggling feeling that I'm not going to like it, even though, let's be real, I love Sarah J Maas's writing and it's Faye. I'm gonna love it. But I do want to get to this. And the thing is, like, some people are daunted by the size of this, but this is not the biggest book I've read. Like, Kingdom of Ash is like 150 pages more than this. And Pride of the Orange Tree is like 50 pages more than this. I'm pretty sure there's a Cassie book that's bigger than this. I think it's Queen of Bone Darkness. So yeah, like, it's nothing to do with the size. The size does not matter. There's a little part of me that's scared I'm not gonna love it, but I know I will. So I should really get to this, but I do want to get to this soon because otherwise I'm going to start seeing spoilers, and if I see spoilers I'm going to cry because I hate spoilers. So I need to get to this soon before spoilers, because there's that like cut off, isn't there, like where if a book's been out long enough it's more acceptable for you to talk about what happens in it, and I don't want to get to that point and start seeing things that happen in this before I've read it. So this is going to be fairly high up on my list, but again, I haven't put it on my July TBR. I'm hoping there's going to be some sort of like August readathon that I can fit this in, like quite a small readathon, maybe like 5 books. Because I am being very ambitious with readathons lately, doing ones that are like a lot of books, but oh well. But yeah, so I want to try and get to this one as well. So that was my mid-year freak out book tag. I will put the questions in the description box below, along with the link to the Black Lives Matter card, where you can obviously find petition links, donation links and resources to educate yourself. So go check that out. And I'm really hoping this one has actually filmed and saved. If this clip goes in, then you know it did work. But yeah, so thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye!